Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast, a show where we take a peek into the hearts and lives of our favorite artists. From running a creative business and practice to mindset, we talk about everything that goes behind into making a life and a career that you adore as an artist. Think of this as your happy hour with your favorite artist in your studio. Hear them share the messy and the wonderful side of creating and living a creative, heartfelt life within and outside our studios. As you tune in, be ready to be inspired and encouraged. I'm your host, Charuka Arora, an artist, designer, entrepreneur, and founder of Arts to Hearts project. Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right in.
The hardest part, I don't know. I guess of becoming an artist, or kind of the hardest part of being an artist right now. Okay. I guess the hardest part of becoming an artist is kind of having that confidence in yourself that you can do it, because you do have to be very kind of, I don't know, you've got to really believe in yourself and believe in your work and that you can actually do it. You've got to keep doing it. You can't sort of be like, oh, no, maybe not. I don't know. You've got to really sort of go for it. So I guess that's the hardest thing, to make yourself be like that. And then the hardest part, I've already said this, but the hardest thing that I find at the moment about being an artist is that I just don't have enough time, because I'm a mum as well. That's my hard thing at the moment.
Hey you guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast. And this is your host, Charuka. I'm so excited to be back on the podcast today with another amazing artist, women. She is just so inspiring, and we took a lot of effort to make this episode possible. So I really hope that you enjoy this. I think I discovered Sophie first time via, I think, the Art and Cocktails podcast, or which is the Create Magazine's podcast. And I have been following her work since then. I've I've drooled over her work since the past 3 years, I think now. And I was so excited to have her on the podcast. We had to do a lot of to and fro, but finally we are here today. Welcome to the podcast, Sophie.
Hi, thank you. A lovely introduction.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your patience, because we really have had lot of to and fro possible.
Yeah, it's been a bit tricky, hasn't it, to get together?
Yeah. Okay. First, let's just start with, let's get into the episode and just start with, would you want to introduce yourself, what you do, for people who are listening who might not know your work, or just,
Yeah, so I am Sophie Derrick, and I would describe my work as contemporary portrait art, I think. I make portraits, but I do them as kind of an unusual way of making them, I guess, because what I do is I paint directly onto myself with oil paint and take those photos, print it, and then I paint on top of it. So it becomes a kind of mixture of painting, photography, and the kind of reality of the paint versus the fictional photo of the paint. So it's kind of, got lots of dualities in the work.
Amazing. Your work is actually quite iconic, because if anyone who knows your work and who's seen it once can recognize it from anywhere then. Also, you have a very pretty studio and a very amazing street. I know now. We also have to talk about that. But let's start with a little bit about, how did you grow up? Did you study arts? Were you always into art, or did you just found it in between?
I was always into art, actually. I was always kind of doing arty things when I was growing up. I grew up in Wiltshire, which is like a very kind of rural countryside part of the UK, with my two brothers and sister. So there's quite a few of us. We were always kind of, we were always kind of doing arty things, always making stuff or drawing. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it was sort of my thing from when I was young. And then, yeah, I kind of did it all through school. I did arts, GCSE, art A-level, went and did art foundation. And then I went to uni and did arts. And then I went and did an MA. So yeah, I think I've probably done the whole shebang there of arts education.
Okay. Did you always think you would become an artist? Like, did you always want to be an artist? Like, even when you were young, did you think that was
Yeah.
something that you would want to be?
Yeah, I think I always wanted to be an artist, but I don't know, I kind of didn't ever think it would be possible. Because I think I think it's probably changed a bit now, people's perception of being an artist, but definitely when I was growing up, it was still the thing of like, well, yeah, you go and do art, but you'll never make any money from it. And, you'll probably have to get another job and you won't be able to do it as your full-time job and all this sort of stuff. So I don't know, even though like my parents were very kind of supportive and very, they were like, go and do whatever you want, basically. But I don't know, there definitely was that kind of mindset in kind of everybody at that time that you just can't really do it as a job. So I always thought I'd do something arty, and I thought kind of, I'll go and do all my courses and I do fine art at uni and stuff, but I won't be an artist. I'll just, I'll probably have to go and do another course in like graphic design or something a bit more vocational. But yeah, I don't know, it kind of just sort of happened after uni that I kind of started selling stuff, and I don't know, it did kind of become my job. So it kind of happened naturally.
It wasn't something that you planned on, but
not
since you were also
really.
in college, I mean, that would be the most practical next step for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I did like, I definitely wanted to be an artist. I just sort of didn't think it was an actual thing that you could be. But I think things have definitely changed now with like Instagram and stuff. Like there's so many other avenues now that you can use to become an artist and make it your full-time job. So yeah.
Amazing. When you, what was the first time that you thought that, like you also mentioned that you grew up now in a rural area and you never saw an artist, like it didn't feel something that was possible for you, let's say. What was your first? Do you have like a memory that you can recall where you felt like, okay, this is something that you would want to be?
Um,
Or you
I
said it
don't
out
know.
loud to yourself, like,
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I can remember my mum's friend did a graphic design course when she was like
hmm,
older, and I remember my mum taking us to her like end of year show thing, and there was loads of different. I think it was like an art foundation that she was doing. And there's loads of, there's all the different sort of types of art that you could go and see there, all the
yes.
different fashion, graphic design, fine art, sculpture, all those sort of things. And I remember going to that and thinking, oh, this is really cool. Like, this is definitely what I want to do. But I still thought, I'll probably have to go and do graphic design though, because I want to, I don't know, I just always had this thing of like, I've got to get a job. I've got to get a job after it.
Yeah.
But
And also, I think like when you say this, I can so relate to it because a lot of times when we grow up, like I was always this creative child, but we have often have this at least where I grew up and how I grew up, we had this connotation that um, you need to take up a career. Only people who are, let's say, just not smart enough would take up a career that wouldn't pay them. I mean, it was just that I didn't want to
yeah,
be that, I just didn't want to be part of that group that felt like, oh, you do all the wrong things and then you end
yeah,
up a mess.
yeah. I know. I don't know why. I think I don't know why it is. I just had that like pressure. I think it was just me putting that pressure on myself to be like, I've got to do well. I've got to get a good job and stuff. I don't know why I had that, but I just always had that pressure that I had to do something that would be my job, and art even though I loved it, I just thought it couldn't be my job. But I don't know. It kind of just happened.
Let's also talk about the beginning and the evolution of your work. You have had quite, like you mentioned, you've had quite a bit of degrees and experience in education of art. How has your work progressed? That is one part of my question. The second part is, how did you find the work that you make today?
Okay.
Or it found you?
I think I've always, like, it's funny sort of looking back now at my older work, like even stuff I did on my A level and things like that, because it is really not similar, but like I can definitely see a kind of trajectory from that to what I'm doing now, because I was always into figurative work. Like whatever I did, it would kind of have some sort of figurative element in it. Like I remember making on my art A level, my final piece was these like sculpted hands that had like a light underneath them shining up, so it made shadow on the walls and stuff, which is a bit weird and spooky. But I don't know, everything had to have like this element of the figurative in it, but also, I don't know, not just being like a portrait that I just paint, like that sort of, not that I've got anything against that because I love portraits, but I don't know, I kind of always had to push it into a different sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, your work is very playful also.
Yeah,
I'm sure that you
playful. I
are
think that's the thing.
someone.
Yeah, that's a good word. I think it is playful. I think I was always quite playful. Like I made like a big collage out of dried up paint of a face, but you couldn't kind of really properly see it as a face until you looked at it properly. And I don't know, stuff like that. Like I can definitely see the link between that and what I'm doing now. And then what I'm doing now, I kind of came to that because I started doing it when I was at uni, so like a really long time ago now. I think it's been about 13 years or something crazy. But I was at uni. I was trying to do some painting. I really wanted to do some painting. And I was doing portraits, but I was trying to make them a bit more like playful and free and kind of painterly. And at the same time, I was doing this module on masking in my history of art part of things. And I think that must have like somehow subconsciously influenced me. And I just was like, I'm just going to paint onto myself. And that's kind of how it started. But it's definitely kind of, it's still the same concept, I guess, but it's definitely kind of changed over the years. Like it was quite, I don't know if you can see this one in the background, but it's quite, I don't know, it was very Frank Auerbach-y. You know Frank Auerbach?
It does feel, I think it's quite different from your actual color palette that you usually, I can see,
definitely. Yeah, it's definitely got brighter and bolder. And someone came to my studio the other day and she was saying, because, sometimes you can't really see it yourself, but when someone else points something out to you, you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Actually, she was saying, she was looking at my older stuff and being like, oh my God, I can't believe that is the same. That's you as well, because it's so different. Because she was like, that looks like someone that's just starting out, and your stuff you're doing now looks just so much more confident with the brushstrokes and the colours and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe that is true actually, because I guess I was kind of just like trying to find my way in the early days, but yeah, now it's kind of a bit more.
Okay, one very honest question. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask this on behalf of all people who love, and honestly, I will ask this on behalf of me because I love experimentation. I love playing, and also there's so many other artists out there. We are always what we see. It's comfortable to become what we already see because you know that it's already validated, it's already valued, and you're becoming a part of something. Especially, I think as artists, getting uncomfortable is very hard.
Yeah.
Did you the kind of work that you're making now is, I mean, it's of course, there's still a lot of things that happen on photograph versus on whole. Like I think you've mixed quite a few practices into one, like face painting and then printing and photographing and then post embellishing. You've incorporated a lot of arts in your work.
Yeah.
Were you scared in the beginning when you started making this kind of work because you were going off the beat, doing something completely different and new?
I think I was kind of scared and really excited at the same time. I remember doing my first painty face and I was like, oh my God, it just came out so much better than I had even thought that it would. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I was so excited to go in and show my tutors. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm literally the first person to ever do this. This is amazing. I went in and had this like a crit thing where I had to show my work, and people were like, oh, have you seen the work of Boo Ritson? And have you seen the work of like all these people that did like a similar thing? I was like, oh God, that's so annoying. I thought I was onto something new. But I don't know. I think I kind of, sort of found my own style with it. And I was really excited. But yeah, also it is kind of scary because I don't know, I still find it a little bit like scary or intimidating in a way that I use myself in my work, because I'm not I'm not a kind of look at me kind of person. So to use myself in my work is like, if I think about it too much, I'm like, oh God, no, this is too much. I can't do it. But I think because I'm like covering myself up.
But it's also very form of plating. I mean, it is you, but it is not you. I mean,
Well, that's what I hope people get from it, is that I hope that people don't think.
I mean, I don't. It's when I see your work, I can't wait to see it in real life soon.
Yeah.
But when I see your work, it does not, even though you are in it, it never makes me feel that you're in it. Because it's camouflages.
That's good.
You just give it a structure. I think you give it a structure and then it takes shape.
Yeah, I'm just the canvas. I know. That's what I think. Yeah. And I quite like that about it, that it kind of becomes something other. That's kind of my whole thing about it, and sort of escapism and sort of losing yourself in a good way.
Yeah.
To the paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another very important question, which is, I want to ask you these questions because the kind of work that you started doing, of course, I asked you the same thing because it's hard. It's hard to do something that's not there, that's different, that's, in context to that. Another question is, now that you've found your style, you have a very signature, you have a process, your medium is very defined. Of course, your work keeps evolving, but there's still a lot of structure that's already there in place for you to work in.
Yeah.
How do you deal with this? I don't know if do you have this desire to keep, to do something completely different?
Yeah.
And then we have this thought, oh my God, this is my style. So how do you feel? Like how do you navigate? Do you feel this?
That is a really tricky one. No, I think about that all the time, actually, because...
Perfect. That makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm always like, oh God, like, because I still do love making the things that I'm making. But then I'm like, I don't know if like people are getting bored of it or whatever. And it's really difficult as well because, I've kind of got this signature style now. But I do have I've got loads of ideas of different things to do with it. So like keeping it the same concept, but kind of manifesting it in different ways and kind of like doing a bit more collagey things, stuff like that. Like I've had these ideas for so long, but my problem is I just don't have time because I've got my 2 little children and they just take up so much time. I feel like my time in the studio is literally just like doing commissions and doing stuff that's going to go off to art fairs and things like that, which I'm so grateful for. And I love doing that. But then it kind of doesn't leave me with much time to do all these other things that I want to do as well. So that is my problem. But yeah, it's definitely a tricky one with kind of trying to push your work into different sort of areas, but also keeping it the same style.
Yeah, and
It's
also I
tricky.
think something that I have started, like I have been dealing with this for so long right now because I have, like, I've been going through such a hard time that I just felt like I wanted to make, whenever I approach my work, I felt like, is this good enough? Is it falling in line with what I do? Oh my God, what my theme is. I have to keep continuing this series or that work, all of that. And I felt like I was so exhausted into it. And I felt like now I just need to have a space for myself within a practice. That is, if I want to do watercolors, if I want to do anything, if I just don't want to do what I actually do, I need to give that permission to myself to let to do that. And if that flows into something else, of course. Do you have like an alternate practice that maybe the world doesn't see, the social media doesn't see, maybe the galleries don't see, but that you keep like you do for yourself? Because as artists, we love to keep exploring. I mean, we don't want to like, you know.
Yeah. I love life drawing. I really love
Oh
life
wow.
drawing. And I don't do it as often as I would like to, but I
Right.
do it like on and off. And I love it. Like I feel like that's my sort of other thing that I love doing that's quite different to what I'm doing
Yeah.
here with
Yeah.
in my studio. Like, I don't know if I'll ever sort of maybe find a way of incorporating it in or doing something with that. But I know what you mean. Like, it's so difficult to kind
Yeah.
of stop yourself from having these like rules that you place on yourself
Yeah.
to
Because
be
we are
like, no, I
taught,
have to.
you have to be, if you want to be successful, you need to have the style, you need to have this very particular, like, because we want to be so defined as who we are, that it reaches a point that it also starts limiting us. It starts limiting the pure joy of making. That is the primary reason why we started making anything. So, yeah. Okay. My next question, which is pretty interesting because we all love your work for sure. Let's talk about your process. I am so intrigued by how would that, like, not only the physical process, because I think as artists we already work alone, so it's a lot of isolation and everything. But the thing with your work is it's also a lot of self dialogue, like a conversation with your own self. So you're not only making the work, in that process you are also the work.
Yeah.
So how does that feel like? How do you typically start making, like, doing the, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think maybe it's because I'm a bit of a control freak that I like have to be in every part of the process. I don't know, but yeah, um, I don't know how to answer that question really. I guess I'm
Let's
like,
talk about your process. I mean, how do you start? Like, what is your way? How do you begin a work? What goes into making a work possible?
yeah, well, I guess first of all, it's like the color palette. That's like the starting point. Trying to kind of like find some like colors that I'm really into or colors that I just love. So that's the starting point, and then yeah, I kind of have to like book out a whole day just being on my own in the studio because it is quite a I don't know, it's a weird sort of process, like being on your own and kind of covering yourself up. It is quite
Yeah. Do you do all this by yourself? Do you have anyone to help?
yeah. No, I just do it on my own because I'm a control freak, and also because I don't know. Also, like I feel like I can't have anyone there when I'm actually doing painting myself because I just couldn't get fully into it if someone was there because it is like a bit of a funny, silly thing to do, and it does look a bit like I don't know. The photos of it, I
And
think, always look so much nicer than the actual
but the
painters.
finish of your self work is also great. I feel like the way you even paint yourself, it's just amazing then.
Yeah, so I have a mirror, and I just kind of keep going
Oh
between
wow.
the mirror, putting it on, take loads of photos, see what else I need to put on, which
Then
bits
you
I need to
self
kind of cover up.
photograph yourself also.
Yeah, so I've got a little self, like a clicker thing. that I can just take photos of myself. Yeah, because I can't have anyone around me when I'm doing it. Because I don't know, it's such a weird, I guess does come back to masking and kind of trying to get into that otherworldly kind of state, I suppose, becoming something else. And you can't really become something else if someone is there kind of seeing you going through that process. So yeah, I'm always on my own. So yeah, kind of it's like a whole day of doing that, painting myself, and then the cleanup process takes quite a long time.
Yes, this is my big question. How, I mean, oh my God, believe me, when I even have a painting or like I have the embellishments, I would I make the work. I just dread, I just literally dread packing things up and putting them back into place. Even when
Yeah.
I can leave, a lot of time I just leave like that. But I just don't think you have the option to not clean your palette, which is yourself.
No.
Oh my
Yes.
God, how taxing would that be? How tiring would that be?
It's actually really tiring. Like it really, after I've done like a whole day of doing that, I'm so tired because it's such a physical process as well. And like, yeah, it comes off your skin really easily. It's just like getting out of your hair and then cleaning up the studio is like a bit of a
What paints do you put on self?
Oil paint.
But is that not toxic for you?
Wow. No, I don't think so. No, I have done quite a lot of research into it, and actually, oil paints they're not too bad. They used to be pretty bad. Like, they used to have some pigments which would be really dangerous. But now they're all kind of not harmful pigments at all. They're okay. It's literally pigment and oil, so it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone else to do it, but yeah.
Okay, another question. You use quite a bit of paint. That is something that I really need to ask because with one session that you do, how many sessions would you do, let's say typically in a month of self painting?
I actually don't do it that often anymore. I only do it probably like twice a year, maybe. I used to do it loads. Yeah, I used to do it like, I don't know, maybe like 20 times a year or something. But now I just do it about twice a year. And then I'll just kind of use those series and kind of release different poses from each series I've done. Because otherwise,
when you actually release a work, how do you, okay, my question is, how do you make a series? Do you like when you think like one session becomes a series? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so so when I do the painting myself day, I'll just take tons of different head poses and different kind of backgrounds, adding on different bits of paint. And then I'll edit all of those and I'll pick about 6 images from each different background color. That makes sense. And then I have like a good stock of images that I could print, and I kind of then use those as my series and use those to kind of release and sell.
Do you, when you do these sell sessions, do you do like multiple color palettes in one go?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Sometimes I do. Actually, I think I did recently. I did my Colour Me Happy one, and I also did my Laid Bare one in the same day. Just paint.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what is your next step once you've done this photo shoot? What happens next?
So next, I will edit the photos. That probably takes the longest time, like just editing, because I take so many images. I have to sort of trawl through them all, find the best ones, edit them, and that takes ages actually. So yeah, that's the next step. And then when we've decided which ones are the best, then I will kind of start getting them printed, and I do them as acrylic prints, and then I paint over the top of them with acrylic paint.
Wow. And then the outcome is just gorgeous. How big your work is usually?
Pardon, how big? It's usually, so I kind of had two stock sizes. So I usually do like 70 by 100 centimeters or 100 by 150. Those are kind of my two main sizes that I do, but I can, I do sort of bespoke ones if people wanted it for a specific space or something. Yeah.
Love that. I'm just even going through your feed right now, and I mean, you're the work. I mean, I'm also seeing this video that you have, which like it's so intriguing because someone's applying. Like I can see the brush over your face. That's a lot of paint, like a lot of paint.
Yeah, it's a lot of paint. It's thick paint, but it kind of needs to be to sort of cover you. Do you know what I mean?
It looks like it looks also your work actually looks very sensual.
Yeah, it is. It is like doing that actually. Like if I do a commission and I'm painting with somebody else, they're always like, "Oh, she feels really nice," because it is quite therapeutic being brushed on your face.
Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like having paints on our hand in itself is such a good therapy. I can't even imagine how good it feel to have so much paint on your body and like on your face and like like the coolness it brings to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite heavy. It's like you don't really notice until you've taken it off, and you're like, oh god, it felt so heavy on your face. But yeah,
I know we are short on time, so I will quickly ask you one last question and then we'll go to the rapid fire so that we make sure we make it in time for the most exciting part of the episode. My last question to you is what do you feel has been the hardest part of being an artist for you?
the hardest part. I don't know. I guess like of becoming an artist, or kind of the hardest part of being an artist right now.
Both, let's say both.
Okay. I guess the hardest part of becoming an artist is kind of having that confidence in yourself that you can do it, because you do have to be very kind of, I don't know, you've got to really believe in yourself and believe in your work and that you can actually do it. You've got to keep doing it. You can't sort of be like, oh, no, maybe not. I don't know. You've got to really sort of go for it. So I guess that's the hardest thing, to make yourself be like that. And then the hardest part, I've already said this, but the hardest thing that I find at the moment about being an artist is that I just don't have enough time, because I'm a mum as well. That's my hard thing at the moment. Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you so much. I wish I could ask you so many more questions. I'm sure I will have you back sometime soon again.
Yes,
So
hope
thank
so.
you so much.
Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
Before I let you go, I definitely want to make it one time for a rapid fire. It's a small, like, I don't know if you've heard the episode, the podcast so far, you would know it's just a small little rapid fire. You just have to give me anything that comes to your mind. It's just
Okay.
a way to get to know you better.
Yeah, okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, one, two, three, here we go. One thing that you want to convey through your work in the art.
Happiness.
What's that one word that describes you the best?
Oh, God, it describes me. Tenacious.
If you could have a studio anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh my God. Maybe somewhere like New York or Italy. Yeah.
Oh wow, Italy would
Somewhere
be
hot.
so fun. I mean, I can see the aesthetic.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Okay, your biggest source of inspiration.
I don't know. Probably other artists and colours.
Who is your favorite women artist?
Who would that be? That would be someone like Cindy Sherman. I love her.
Okay.
Jenny Savile. Yeah, Jenny Savile. That's my one. Yeah.
Perfect. Who's your go-to person when you're in trouble or in need of advice?
My husband, probably. Yeah, my lovely husband, Ollie. He always has to calm me down about random things that I'm worried about.
That's
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there must have been many, but can you share just one little moment, anything that you cherish, anything that you would want to share? Any moment, any memory that makes you feel like, oh my God, that makes you feel special and grateful for being an artist today?
I think when I had my last solo show, when I had my last solo show in 2017, and the private view of that, I was just like, I was so proud of all the stuff I'd made for that. I really loved that collection, and I just had my son, and it was all like very kind of hard to do, but I did it, and I was really, I was just so happy that I'd done it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to meet younger Sophie today, what advice would you give her?
Oh my God, I would tell her to stop worrying and that it's all going to be okay. And that you just got to do what you love doing. Yeah.
Amazing. That's so true. Okay, my last question. What is that one advice that you would give to people coming behind you? Women, artists, young women, anyone who's listening to this episode?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I guess like what I've just been saying, like be confident and do what you love doing. And if you really love doing it and you really want to do it, then you'll make it happen. So don't worry and just be free, do your art stuff, and don't worry about the rules and what people say you should be doing. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you so much. I know how we made this possible. I know we still were on a tight timeline and I have to let you go.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I just want to ask you if you have anything upcoming that you would want to share with our listeners, anywhere and like anything that's coming up for you, and where can people who are listening to this episode find you and support you?
Yeah, my next thing coming up is the Affordable Art Fair in Battersea. That's in 3 weeks. So that's in London. So if anyone is in London around that time, pop in. I'll probably be there on the Wednesday night if you want to come and have a chat. But yeah, that's my next thing that's coming up.
Where can we find you?
I am we're on, like online and stuff, or
anywhere people will be.
Yeah, so I'm kind of mainly contactable on Instagram, I'd say. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, and I always put everything that I'm doing on there. So yeah, check me out on there.
Lovely. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being here. I will let you go now. Any last parting words that you want to say? Anything?
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope that everyone enjoyed that and kind of finds a bit of inspiration, hopefully. Thank you
so much. It was so nice to talk to you. I know you have to pick up your little girl.
Yeah, so I've got to go and get my little girl.
Thank you so much. See you soon again.
Okay, all right. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find all the details and links mentioned in the show notes of this episode available on www.arts2heartsproject.com. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to tag us in your stories and leave us a review here on iTunes or any of your favorite platforms. It really helps us to keep the show going. Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love and I can't wait to be back here soon again. Bye.